So you can now get college credit for taking MIT and Berkeley's edX courses. Arizona State University has also partnered with edX to offer college credit for its online courses. MIT actually has these degrees called MicroMasters now. More specifically, on gaming, Michigan State University has a certificate on Coursera related to game design. And if you want to learn game design in Spanish, there's also another certificate on Coursera from the Universidad Autónoma de Barcelona. So edX has a list of online courses exploring the science behind Star Wars. Khan Academy and Pixar, which is now part of Disney, have an online animation curriculum for schools. The winner of this year's video game STEM challenge, which is like a video game design competition, is a student in a gifted program at a virtual school. So there's now a large number of online game design courses and programs on all the major online courses platforms, so you should check them out. There's a really insightful paper and guide by a researcher at North Dakota State University on how to incorporate entertainment games into classroom curricula. So on our website, we have compiled these great lists of serious games that were created by Extra Credits, the MIT Game Lab, Graphite, the Games at Impact Center, and Totem Learning. So if you love Minecraft, you'll probably love the games in this list created by Common Sense Media. A game designer created a great list of iOS games, many of them pretty educational. Gamasutra also has a game of their top 10 games of 2015, and Wired and Extra Credits also have terrific lists of games for learning. So just go to our website and you'll find all these lists of great games for learning from all these publications. Extra Credit has some great introductory videos about game design and the game industry, plus a look at where your console came from. There's also a video on the GDC website on a presentation on teaching game design with games. So congratulations to the 51 schools that won $10,000 for hosting Hour of Code events. Code.org is now teaching code with Star Wars characters. And you can also learn coding with the indie game Else Heart Break. So DreamIt and Penn State University just announced that they're going to launch an EdTech accelerator. The Games and Learning Accelerator CoLab just announced applications are now open for its 5th cohort, and EdSearch has a map of EdTech accelerators. So middle and high school students in New York City are challenged to participate in the Games for Change Student Challenge and design a game for social change. There's another Games for Change game design challenge that offers $10,000 for game ideas on financial literacy. The X Prize will award you $7 million if you win their Adult Literacy App Making Challenge. And the winners of the National Climate Game Jam have been announced. So we tweet job openings all the time. The ones we're going to mention now have probably closed, but follow us on Twitter and you'll find that we post jobs all the time. So there was a good opportunity in the UK if you were interested in doing gamification in business schools. There was a tenure track faculty position in serious games at the Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. There was a tenure track games and learning position available at UC Irvine. The Learning Games Lab at New Mexico State University was seeking a programmer. Educational simulation organization Cognito is hiring. American University's Game Lab was hiring a part-time coordinator. And Google was looking for a mobile and VR graphics engineer. So the Wall Street Journal is now offering some stories in virtual reality 360 video. The New York Times is also now doing virtual reality stories. There's a new American University Game Lab video series on game design applied to journalism. And the Open Doc Lab at MIT has a new report on interactive journalism. So there's a PhD in Communications program at American University's Game Lab. You can get a PhD and a master's focused on games for learning at Georgia Tech. There's a Bachelor's of Serious Games degree at the University of the Sunshine Coast in Australia. Northampton University has a master's degree in serious games. The Worcester Polytechnic Institute has a master's degree in games with a focus on serious games. And Michigan State University has an online serious games graduate certificate program. So the IGDA Foundation has a Women in Games Ambassador program that you can apply to every year. And if you're looking to get into game design, there's a Pixels Game Incubator open to all women. So Star Citizen has now raised $100 million through crowdsourcing. So this Warmind has new modding tools, and it's also getting the tabletop board game treatment. There's a terrific article on edugaming.com on using this Warmind for learning. This Warmind also just announced a DLC called The Little Ones. There's an article on edugaming.com on whether Fallout 4 has any educational potential. There's also a terrific article on Gamasutra about playing Valiant Hearts and learning history. There's an article on EdSurge on using Civilization for learning. There's a 99 Invisible podcast that explains Monopoly's origins as a serious applied game. The Verge has an article on whether Assassin's Creed can teach you history. And Play the Past has a great article analyzing the design of ethical choices in history games. So there's a site called Games for Educators. That's a really great site for reviews of board games for learning. There's an article on the best board games for developing valuable real-life skills on Lifehacker. You should check out the Games and Learning Alliance Conference Awards. There was a presentation also at the Games Learning Society Conference based on this article on how the Pokemon series is well designed for diversity. The Games for Health Europe Conference had 60 speakers, 10 workshops, and more. Then there's a ton of events coming for 2016. So there's the Games and Media Summit, there's the Games for Change Festival, the International Conference on Virtual Worlds and Games for Serious Applications. It's happening in Barcelona. The different games conference is coming up. We recently just had the GamerX 3 conference and the CUNY Games Festival. And if you're interested in romance, love, and sex in games, there's a summit in Norway called LIST. So GDC 2016 will donate summit passes to the charitable venture Indie Gaming. And you can buy some really great games from Gaming for Good, and your money goes to Save the Children. The new issue of the Play Start Journal has articles on games and learning. There's also been a call for papers on serious games for health from a different journal. There are call for papers on games for the elderly and the representation of aging in video games. There are call for chapters on game-based learning across the lifespan. There are call for papers on esports and professional gameplay. Our favorite games journal, Well Played, is accepting submissions for a video Let's Play issue. And the new issue of Well Played is on diversity in games. So Flickr comes to VR, bringing tens of thousands of 360 photos. There's a new VR tour that will take you on a climb up Mount Everest. There's a great article on photographers of virtual worlds and video games. Virtual reality Firefox could be a game changer. There's an article on how virtual reality can improve the quality of life of people around the world. There's a film festival that brings AR and VR to architects and designers. There was a review of the staging of Paradise Lost in Second Life. David Attenborough has a documentary titled First Life that's for Gear VR. You can experience more empathy if you walk a digital mile in someone else's shoes. Google expands its educational virtual reality program to 15 cities. So Upload VR has a jobs board. YouTube, which is a terrific place to learn all sorts of things, has announced support for VR. So there's a game called Stonehearth that seems to mix elements from The Sims and Minecraft. There's also an article comparing Minecraft to Project Spark and Kodo Game Lab. Microsoft has actually released Project Spark for free. Terralogic, a 2D sandbox game, is to be released on the Wii U and 3DS. Players of the City Builder City Skyline have created a ton of mods, maps, and assets. City Skyline the Deluxe Edition is currently 60% off. The reviews are out for the expansion of City Skyline After Dark. You can see how games are changing city landscapes and architecture in the documentary My Urban Playground. American tweens use an average of 6 hours of entertainment media every day. And I think, as we've talked about in this show, entertainment media can actually be very educational. The mobile game market has soared to $25 billion with 1.5 billion players. Duolingo has raised $45 million and is now valued at $470 million. And Anthropy just released a new game. There's a pixel art game that will teach you pixel art. There's all this terrific fan art that's been created on the Nintendo 3DS. The Legend of Zelda fan art group has released a huge new collection. And Tearaway, a great puzzle game that encourages players to design virtual objects, is now available on the PS4. Here is the Battle of Waterloo, built with 2,134 Legos. So LEGO has also revealed the new Ghostbusters Firehouse headquarters. Out of the 52 judges at the Game Award, only one was a woman. Feminist Frequency has in-depth reviews of the new Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Microsoft is investing $8 million in game development education through its new Codex program. EA Sports, the NFL, and Discovery have created a new Madden football aimed at teaching math and science. Roller Coaster Tycoon World is scheduled for release in early 2016. So Disney Research and the Carnegie Mellon University have released a design tool that helps novices design 3D printable robotic creatures. Check out these 20 amazing Super Mario Maker courses. Super Mario Maker recently got checkpoints, smarter power-ups. Worldwide, millions of these courses have been created in Super Mario Maker. Carl Sagan once tried to design a sci-fi game based on his novel Contact. Game designer Rachel Ponce has suggested a game jam where people compete to create Sagan's proposed sci-fi game. The Brain Jam is a 48-hour game jam for making short games related to mental health. You should also check out the bite-sized horror text game jam. There's a game jam around the risks of nuclear weapons, co-hosted by Games for Change. So the excellent gamification course on Coursera, which I took by University of Pennsylvania professor Kevin Werbach, is now available on demand. The National Video Game Museum has opened in Texas. More than $7 million were raised in the Extra Life for Kids Gaming Marathon. A new book on the psychology of video games is out and available for purchase. So check out the 2015 winners of the International Science and Engineering Visualization Challenge. The reviews are out for Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth Rising Tide. The reviews are out also for Prison Architect, a prison simulator. You should check out Neurotic Neurons, an interactive animation about neurons and anxiety. There's an article on how Twitch offers disabled players community and a second income. So there's an article on Jane McGonigal, who has convinced millions that gaming can be used for good. And in the article, she offers 7 ways gaming can improve your life.